with the educated opinion on topics of all varieties. Yo, it's your boy Bubba, and you are listening to Bubba's Banter. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your motherfucking boy. I ain't gotta say no motherfucking names, right? But I am in this way. It's your boy Bubba, and you are listening to Bubba's Banter. I think I fucked that up. This is your boy Bubba, and you are listening to Bubba's Banter. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your motherfucking boy. I ain't gotta say no names. I'm gonna say it again because I feel like I fucked it up. So I'm gonna say it one more time. No, I'm being corny. I hope y'all little feeling well. I'm doing okay. Stuck in this snowstorm. I'm very, very, very irritated about it. Like extremely irritated about it. I used to love the snow when I was a young kid, and now I am older, and I'm just like, fuck all this shit. Like, this shit is not productive. Like, I can't get out and do nothing. Like, can't go nowhere. I can't do shit. Like, I'm just chilling here, and it's annoying as fuck. Like, I'm stuck in my house. I don't want to tell y'all all my business, but I got an urgency under my ass right now that I just like, oh my God, I gotta get to it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I hate the snow at this point in my time in my life. It's only fun if I'm like at the mountain, and I haven't been up there in years. That's the only time snow is fun to me. Like, at least I can be in a cabin. I can, be in a hot tub with snow around, or, you know what I'm saying, fucking, skiing and snowboarding, shit like that. Like, that's fun snow. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, fuck that. If I gotta be stuck in the house all day. I might need to get a truck next year, but that's just a gas guzzler, so I don't know if I'm gonna get a truck. But yeah, you guys know where to follow me at, right? Which is Bubba's Banter podcast. Also, Bubba's Banter on Twitter. You can follow my personal, which is The Real Doc Dre. And yeah, so guys, I just want to ask you guys again. I always tell, I'm not going to even do the commercial. Y'all go out and get these bearskin underwear because they are comfortable and they are great, and I love them. If you use my promo code Bubba, you will get 15% off on your order. But guess what? We have another reoccurring guest, and y'all know exactly who this is. He's been on my show multiple times. I've gotten so many questions from you guys about you guys should do a show together or like a segment and like all this stuff, because y'all just talk about how our chemistry is so great. So I'm going to bring in my boy Darius. What's good, bro?
Hi. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask, when are you gonna put me on to the bearskin shit? They need to send me even I have my thoughts about it previously, but I need to actually feel them. I'm gonna use your promo code.
Yes,
you got a promo code, right?
Yes, Bubba. Go get you, bro. Right. Get you some.
I'm gonna use the promo code, and I'm gonna tag them. I'm gonna be like, listen, Bubba sent me. Y'all know I got a fat ass. And, the thighs is thick. I need to feel them myself. So I definitely, because I've been on my like Savage Fenty wave, because she has the options for the big boys and stuff. So. But now I'm gonna see what bearskin is giving. I'm gonna give them a chance.
I'm telling you, they are so comfortable. Like, I have so many pair now. I'm just like, I don't even need to go buy well, yes, I do. I try to go I try to buy at least 2 packs of underwear every like month or so.
Every month?
Yeah, I try to buy.
Why?
Because for me, like, I feel like underwear after 6 months is like time to throw in the trash. Like, maybe that's just me.
I mean, I know women who have had bras for 10 plus years.
Yeah. See, nah, for me, like, I throw my underwear, besides the bearskin underwear, because of course I promo them and they're just so good. But even those, like,
right, when they're good quality, you keep them for a longer time.
Yeah, but even those, like, I'm still probably, a matter of fact, next week I'm gonna buy some. I'm gonna buy some from them, of some that I like, because I feel like the ones that I have are starting to get like kind of old, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just a thing that I do, but I've always been like this.
I mean,
I think I got it from my daddy too.
I feel the same way. I know a lot of people who definitely, instead of, this is so crazy, I know people who will buy new underwear instead of doing laundry. And they end up just piling stuff up. But I know people do crazier shit than that. The only thing I feel that way about, where like I replace often, is socks.
Yeah.
Because socks, like, after a while, you can clean them well, but white socks, they just, after a while, they get stained. They look a little different. And
actually, I don't even have white socks. Like, I do have like a few pair, but I just like black socks for some reason. But even that, I still throw those away after a while. So, But yeah, so
Anyway.
I actually posted some questionnaire up on Instagram asking the people to like send me in questions for I've been doing this for like a week, and I got like 20 questions, but I only narrowed it down to 5 because some of them were like a little too much for me, a little like personal, and then a little bit like low key backhand compliments or like shade. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. So I only picked 5. So I'm gonna start off with the first one, and it says, "Do you think having a preference is bad?"
Well,
I mean, okay, I'll start. I don't think having a preference is bad at all. I think it's when you make your preference superior. You make it seem like your preference is the best looking out of everybody, and you won't go out your way to like interact with someone because of the people that you are attracted to. That's when it becomes like, ugh, like you don't like, because I don't know if I'm saying it right, but like that's just kind of how I feel. Like I feel like people do this often. Like when they have a preference, they only want to hang out with those people or be around those people that look like that, or do this type of thing, and it's like you're only like, it's low key fetishizing me in a sense, anyways, or fetishizing that person. So I think like when people have preferences, it can be problematic, but at the same time, it's not bad because you like what you like. You can't help that you like something. Like for me, body type is like my thing. Like I like me a big, you already know, 250 plus to ride this bus. That's my thing. Like I love big men. I love big men. I can't help it. But I don't like all big men. I don't, and that's just kind of like what it is. Like it's still like you gotta carry it well. You kind of like gotta kind of have some confidence. You kind of like those are the things that comes along. It's a preference. Is not just that one physical trait. Like there's so many other things that come along with that for me to be like, oh my god, you're fucking hot. And so of course I'm gonna go after those people. Like I like big daddies. I like bigger older men. Like that's what I like. You know what I'm saying? I can't help that I like that.
And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's not just one thing that makes me attracted to you, right? Like people who are like, I like fat men, I like black men. It's like, do you like all black men regardless of how they look? Yeah. Or is this just something that historically you gravitated towards? And like that has its own things. Like my thing is the preferences are really this. It's like a very thin line to toe between like it being appropriate and like an actual preference based on whatever your personal taste is, and then something that's rooted in like, I don't know, I don't want to say fetishization, but I think that in some ways people will express online, especially like, I like black men who are dominant and aggressive and tops. And it's like, what is that? Where's that from? What does that mean? Do you like men who are aggressive? Do you like black men? Do you like, but why specifically black men who are aggressive? Where does that come from? And so, I think that it's okay to have a preference ultimately, and that we need to ask ourselves why we're not okay with people having preferences. But when people make it so that they are excluding people, so for example, if you explicitly say in your profile, I only like Asian, well, people who say that, let's just go like bigger, more general. Let's say I like muscular, masculine men, people who look like they take care of themselves. Right. No fats, no feminine men, no Asian men. It's like, okay, so you can express the things that you like. Expressing the things that you don't like seems like more of a practice of trying to exclude people, as opposed to just expressing what you like. And there are people who use and weaponize, like, it's just a preference to be mean to people. And it's like, no one actually cares that you have the preference. It's when you try to use it to make other people that you don't like feel bad.
Exactly. And that's what happens so much. That's why I try to tell people all the time, like, dude, it's not that, I tell this to people all the time. It's not that you have the preference. It's how you go about it. Like, you can get online all day and like black men, but if you come at me with the BC shit, I'm going to have a problem. Because the fact is that you're lumping me in with every single black person who may say, I like to call themselves BBC. Like, I mean, we have whole ass pornos that says BBC, look, whatever, like those porno titles, we
know somebody in a city that you may or may not live in who has a specific preference. And I'll never forget when I first met this person, they said that their preference was anything but white. And I was like, what does that that mean? And as I hung out with them more, I was like, oh, so you really mean you don't fuck with white men? Like you only exclusively fuck Black, Latino, Asian men. And it wasn't indiscriminate. Like he obviously, like he had standards for what he did and did not like, but the insistence that anything but white was very important to him was like a big deal. And so it's weird because it's like, okay, now that I know this about you, I'm thinking about how, for like if I was someone that was fucking with him, right, and I heard him say like I like any people who just are anything but white, I'm like, so damn, do you just like me because I'm Black?
Exactly.
You know, and that's a personal thing that I have to work through. Where I'm like, am I not the only one? Like, I'm the only one that you wanted. But it's a weird thing to express. It really is. It's hard.
It's so fucking weird. And I think like a lot of white people a lot of white people who do that. I'm not even gonna say white people, because there's other like people of color who do it too. Like, especially like for some reason, a lot of Asian men and a lot of like Latinos love to do that to me. And it's like, it feels like they think that it's giving them brownie points. And it's like, no, honey, like, I mean,
but it's also interesting because I rarely see, like when I look at these profiles on all the dating apps, I rarely see a person of color say only Latino men or only Asian men.
That's true. That too.
I very rarely see that. I will see some Black men say only Black men. I don't fuck with white men. Yeah. And that I understand in some ways. In other ways, I'm like, open up your palate. But I almost always see white men say prefer darker skinned men or prefer Middle Eastern. Like the preferences they can get very specific. Yeah. So it definitely happens across the board. But I can say for the most part that I've seen on dating profiles, when people call out a specific race, it's always specific to race. It's a lot of time white men.
Yeah. No, I agree. But it just, I don't know. Preference is something that it isn't. I get the preference question all day, every day on Twitter all the time. Like, I got a little hoe Twitter, and like I'll be posting up videos, and sometimes they be like, oh, do you like white men only? And it always feels weird because it feels like you're projecting, like, bro, just get at me, like, oh, like, hey, what's good? And if I get back at you, then I want you. But if I don't get back at you, I don't want you. It has something to do with you being white. Like, oh, I looked at your likes, and I'm like, okay, good for you. Like, but like, what does that do? Like, that doesn't make sense. If you are turned on by the fucking, you're turned on by the fucking. You're not really like, you're fantasizing about me having sex with you. That's not my problem. Like, that's a you thing. That's not a me thing. The fact that you hop in my mentions, like, you think that's appropriate to do to somebody that you don't even know? I mean, I think that's the reason why it's okay to do it for them. But it's like, you wouldn't do this shit in person. You wouldn't say this shit in person to me. You wouldn't act like this in person. And that's why I just hate the internet. Because I feel like the internet gives people the confidence just to be like assholes. And they wouldn't do this shit in person. But it's one of the things that bothers me so much. And I'm working on, I was talking to my therapist about this, and I was like, I'm working on like, kind of like just letting that shit roll off my shoulder. Because at the end of the day, I'm still getting the likes. I'm still getting the love. It don't matter. It's for fun, y'all. It's not like, that's what I'm posting it for. Like, I'm not, I don't understand why. And it feels weird because it just feels like race has followed me through both communities throughout my life, through fucking, just being a black man and as a black gay man. Like, it's just, goddamn, can I just live? Like, did any of you motherfuckers learn from COVID? Like, life is too short and uncertain to be over here stressing and tripping out with somebody over what they like, bro. Like, as long as it ain't some type of race play shit, because I don't fly with that shit at all. I think that's the weirdest fucking kink in the world. Like, leave me alone. Like, let me do what I want to do. Like, it's just weird. So fucking weird. Anyways, next question. Because I get off on a tangent on that.
No, I was gonna say I know we could talk about this for hours. So I will let you move on.
Okay. This question says, I really enjoyed your live show. My question is geared towards that. Why do gay men, trans people call women cis? Okay, sis, you meant CIS, not SIS, but or birthing persons if we don't want to be called that. Okay. So this is one of the questions I was going to leave off, and I was like, no, let me go ahead and answer it. But I'm going to say something, you're not going to like it, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, let me approach this respectfully.
Okay.
I'm trying to turn into a leave. So, friend, a lot of times, I'm gonna start with the birthing person thing. A lot of times, I feel that when people say I know for a fact that this whole birthing person thing, like, it's not geared towards women. You're not gonna hear a doctor say, "Oh my God, hey, you birthing person, you just birthed a person." They're not gonna say that to you. Anything that's being said like that, it is being said involving a person who is non-binary. So this person who's non-binary, they're probably going to want the doctor to call them a birthing person, or, whatever it is. Like, they're not, because they're not a man or a woman. And so a lot of times, this is why misinformation is a real thing. People need to understand that it's a real thing. Conservatives love to plant dog whistles all over the place for y'all to pick up on things and to be like, "Oh my God, trans people are taking our rights as a woman to be called a woman, or a woman to a woman has given birth, or a pregnant woman. They're taking that from us. They're taking that from us." And the conservatives plant those little seeds all around, and it gets exacerbated all around, and y'all eat it up. And it's annoying. It's annoying. I see it so much, and I can't be mad at you for asking this question. And you know what? Maybe there is some trans person out there who is being spiteful about it and saying things to you, like calling you a birthing person or calling you things that agitate you or whatever. I get that. But at the same time, please understand that in general, trans people or trans women, trans people are not out here just calling you a birthing person just to call you a birthing person. Like,
yeah, I was, and I agree with you so much on the dog whistle thing. It's become really difficult to decipher what is real and what's not. Like, recently there was this thing about trans women are petitioning to remove "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman" from Aretha, Spotify or whatever. And the account that posted that was like very clearly a parody account. Yeah. But all of these other platforms picked up the story because it gives them click rates. It gives people something to engage with, and they know that it's an inflammatory topic. So I agree with you that there are certain things that become culturally relevant and people start talking about because people know that it gets engagement. But I also, like, as someone, I'm not a woman. I'm not someone who's like in doctor's offices often. I'm not engaging with people who are talking about having kids and shit like that. Like, so I don't really know what's going on in the world of people who give birth. But I do know that I follow a lot of trans women, and I do follow people who specifically talk about experiences being trans, people who want families. And I can't say that I've ever, from those people, heard them say anything about the term birthing parent versus mother. And I don't want people to think that, like, it's not real, because I'm sure that someone does feel that way. And like you said, I think it could be a term that non-binary people use because they don't identify with the role of mother or father. They identify with the role of parent. But I would encourage people, to you, whoever asked this question, to just to engage with people who are trans and look at what they're talking about, as opposed to, and I don't know where you got this information. Maybe it was from a trans person, I'm assuming. But I would say, keep expanding the territory and keep looking, learning from people who actually are living the experience versus people who are reposting stuff or hearing things on the podcast, but we're not able to flesh out and give nuance and all of that stuff. And to the point about cis and cisgender, the term cisgender was created to help specify gender, to differentiate someone who is sexually born a certain sex and people who identify with a certain gender. So cisgender people are people who were born with the sexual organs that match their gender identity. So if you are a man born with the penis and balls and you still identify as a man, then you are a cisgender man. If you're trans, if you're a person who was born female sexually at birth and then you identify as a man now, you're trans. So it's just a way to help make the conversation about the differences in gender and sex more accessible and easy. Exactly. But I'm sure that there's also a whole other history of how it became to be. Google, it's free.
Exactly. And it's not new. The term is not new.
And it's not new. Yeah. The buses is not new.
Exactly. Because that's another problem too. But anyways, this question, we talked about this in the text thread. I remember that photo I sent you from that message on Facebook. I'm going to just read the question.
Oh my God.
Do you believe in emasculation of men? Oh man, I'm actually going to be having another toxic masculinity conversation with some friends of mine in a month or so. So But to a degree, I guess if I'm really going to answer this question truthfully, it's a, I don't know, like it's a, no, to a degree. I mean, I'm like, I can see why some people.
But what does emasculation even mean, though? Like, what is?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
That's why I'm having.
Emasculation?
That's why I'm having like a hard time about to answer this, because I'm like where I was in my life when I was younger until where I'm at now at 34 years old. Like, I'm so like secure in who I am. Well, somewhat. Let me stop acting like therapy just healed everything. I'm very secure somewhat in who I am now today. About 5 years ago, about 10 years ago, I would say yes, I can agree. Like, but to a degree, like I can't agree. I see why they feel this way, and I feel like the way society has programmed masculinity and how masculinity is supposed to look, how it's supposed to look. This is the reason why they feel like, there's this emasculation going on. Like, they're taking away what it is to be a man. And it's like, motherfucker, a man could wear a dress if he wants to. Like, it doesn't matter, and it shouldn't take him away from like him being a man. Like, he still can a man can put on a dress and go fix a car, because literally that's what, if he wants to go fix a car wearing a dress, he can fucking do that. Like, my question is,
what does the alleged emasculinization, whatever, emasculation, what is that? What's wrong with that? Like, what makes you so fearful that people are becoming less masculine?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to the fear of, because how a lot of people they look at feminine as being a soft nature. My God, weak. Damsel in distress. Oh my God, I gotta save the feminine person. The feminine person can't fight. The feminine person is weak. And masculine is like rah, Tasmanian devil. Like, right. Like, that's how they act when it comes to masculinity. And it's like, there are so many different versions of masculinity that.
So many. And masculinity looks so different around the world. Like,
so different.
If you go to certain parts of Latin America, to Brazil, for example, grown-ass men who put their dicks inside of pussies and make children, okay, are in the street twerking their asses.
Exactly.
Like, grinding on people, doing that, and they're still men. It's not feminine for them to be dancing that way. That's just a cultural thing. Men in the Philippines or in Thailand, they have there's a very feminine affectation to the way that those people are, that those men are. We see, like, I see it in amongst communities here, but also online all the time. Like, there are different ways that people even perceive masculinity across the world. So in your version of masculinity, the person asking this question, like, what does that look like? Because my thing is too, a lot of the people who complain about their boyfriends or their husbands, their partners, not being emotional enough, not being available to talk to them about stuff, being selfish, not knowing how to take care of their kids, not knowing how to address certain emotional needs. Those are the same people whose masculinity you value. But the person who's taking the time to challenge those ideals, to soften up, to be more open to talking about emotions, to crying, to being vulnerable with you, to creating space for y'all to learn more about each other on a deeper level, that's not masculine enough for you. And someone wearing a dress or a skirt or whatever, like, if they're not for you, they're not for you. Like, exactly. Leave them alone. There are still plenty of masculine niggas out here who can perform that role for you. But now the idea of what it means to be a man is expanding, and thank God, because I can't imagine what it felt like to be a man in a time where you couldn't talk about I think about my dad all the time. That nigga is so emotional. He is a crybaby. He is so soft on the inside. Right. But because he has had to be such a man for his entire life, he hustled, he sold drugs, he did this, he did that. He was in the street and had to be tough. He had to present a certain way. So when he's around certain people, it's like, yo, what's up? He's Debo.
Right.
That's his personality.
Right.
But
code switching
over the years, exactly. But like, he grew up around mostly women. His mother, his two sisters, his aunties. He doesn't have a lot of male figures in his life. He loves fashion. He loves art. Those things are traits that some people probably would consider to be feminine.
Right.
But what is wrong with that? And he has become a better person because he's leaned further into it in a world where he can now be vulnerable and like those things. So that question to me is just so silly, because it's like, what does it even mean to emasculate someone?
Right.
And do they know they're being emasculated? Like, is the emasculation in the room with us right now?
Right. It's such a like Western worldview. view of things, I think, too, though. And that's the reason why, like, you have people who say this, especially, like, black men talk about it more than anything, but that's a Hotep proverb.
Oh, God. They love that new fucking meme with the pussy facing the world.
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme with ASAP and Rihanna?
Yes. So bad.
So crazy.
So bad on that shit. Oh, okay. Next question. Ooh, this one right here. Oh, fuck. This one right here. What is something about the gay community? What is something about the gay community that you feel nobody talks about?
Oh, God. I hate that question so much.
I hate it, but
we've talked about everything, child. Oh, my God.
Okay, for me, I feel like
we talk too much.
We talk about it, but we don't talk about it enough. And I think one of the things is drugs. And I think we talked about this on the show before, actually. I feel like we have.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm okay with drugs. I'm not saying that drugs are bad. Like, you can do drugs all you want. Like, you can do any drug you want and have, as long as you're having fun. I think for me, it's the things that I see on the apps late at night. Like when I get on Sniffies or something, it's like, motherfuckers be like, it's just a sad thing to see so many people like drugged out. It's so, and I know it's not just the gay community, so I don't even want to talk about it like that, because I know there's like tons and tons and tons of people who are not even gay that just do a whole bunch of drugs and be like looking for sex. So it's not just the gay community, but the question asks the gay community. So I think that's one of the things that like I feel like it's zombies, bro, just zombies. Like, it's scary to a degree, and I'm just like where do we start? Like, and not even we, because it's not even just a we thing, it's more of an individual person thing too, an environment too. So that's just kind of like how I look at it. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I'm just like, that's one of the things I feel like doesn't get talked about enough in our community. Like, we talk about it, but we kind of just be like, oh, okay, whatever, like, we're having fun. It's like, yes, you can have fun, like, you can smoke weed, do all the ketamine you want, but like, at the end of the day, like, look at what's going. Like, I saw a tweet that I was gonna put up on TikTok and react to it because it was just so fucking funny. He's like, does anybody want to cuddle anymore? It just seems like all the gays want to do is listen to pots and pans music and do ketamine. And I'm
dead. I did see that. I did see that.
When I said pots and pans, when I say, bro, I laughed for about 20 minutes straight. I was I thought I was going to pass out.
And they probably tweeted that from Brooklyn. Because that's what be going on in Brooklyn.
Pots and pans, though.
I do hear, like, the thing about, like, drugs. I think that generally we just have a culture of like indulgence and partying and fun. So like when so much of what we do is like going out to dance and party, like you just, there's just a certain level of experimentation and fun that comes along with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably not that different from what straight people do. Like I genuinely, I know just as many straight people who can do a whole, little eighth of coke. The same way that gay people do
know,
but
yeah.
But I do think that there is a specific, like, not even expectation, but like I think that people sometimes associate certain types of parties, like circuit parties and stuff, with doing drugs. Like I definitely have friends who say to me, it's like the same way that people do drugs at raves, right? Like when you go to a circuit party, it's like, I'm probably going to do G, or I'm going to do K, or I'll probably make the Somali night. People do talk about parties in association, or drugs in association with parties. Like that definitely happens, but I don't know if it's like any different. And I think we just see it more often too, because straight people aren't posting on like they don't have a Grindr, they don't have a Scruff account to be like, hey, trying to get spun, who wants to whatever. So I feel like if we actually did see that, like if we made Grindr for straight people in the middle of Indiana, I'm sure that every Beth, Earl, and Jane would be up in that bitch talking about who's trying to do Tina, who's trying to, cloud emojis, whatever,
Oh my God, bro. That is true, though. I agree. I hella agree. Okay. Okay, last question. I feel like I already said something controversial, but I'll say something else. It says, say something controversial that would probably piss a bunch of people off.
Ooh. Do you have one?
Yeah. I feel like people okay, this is for the gay community. No. This is just for in general. I wish people would stop thinking that physical intimacy is masculine, and I wish they would stop thinking that emotional intimacy is feminine, because I hate that when I'm trying to be like, and I don't know if this don't piss anybody off, but like, I hate when people think that because I'm being romantic, that it's like a feminine thing. It's like, nah, bitch.
This might actually be the least controversial thing you've ever said.
Yeah, probably. Okay, yeah, probably. I don't think it's gonna piss anybody off, but that's how I'm feeling right now, because I just feel like, and maybe I'm just like getting into my like, you know, I'm on that Virgo Libra cusp, so maybe I'm just being a little sensitive. Gotta blame it on astrology. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
But no, I feel that way. I just hate how like we look at that like, oh, that's a like, and I feel like a lot of men, especially those who are so entrapped in the whole masculinity thing, entrapped up into it, especially like gay men who are very I'm masculine or mask for mask, like they don't know how to show like that sensitive emotional side to them to a degree. It like at least to me, when I'm certain guys that I've dated, like they don't know, like no, like it's actually dope to like hit me up and see how I'm doing. It's actually dope to like make me feel like I'm yours. Like that's that emotional piece is something that I need. Like I need you to be like emotional. I need to feel vulnerable with you. Like that's okay, and I want that. Like you don't need to hide that from me, because I'm sure enough not going to hide being vulnerable with somebody if I want to be with them or I like them. Like, and I just always find it hard to like when I'm dating someone, and particularly I guess what you would deem masculine, in regards to what the relationship is, regardless if it's a situationship or just dating or going to be something other than that. Like it's just always that, the guys, like especially those who call themselves daddy. Because, you know, I like the daddies, but it'd be those ones who'd be like, they don't know how to be emotional at all. It's just like, rah, rah,
so
rah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's actually, I've never heard anyone express it that way. Or maybe I have, but I haven't heard it in a while. Yeah. So it's nice to hear you say that. My controversial opinion is, I think I've said this before on the podcast, actually, but it is no one's responsibility to manage your insecurities.
Yeah. Ooh.
And I say that because I'm very online these days, and I've gotten to a place now where it pisses me off to see people go through. Specifically, there was a situation I saw recently where like people are always on Twitter. There's this tweet that always goes around, and like people try to go viral, and they say, you know, that meme where it's the guy and his girlfriend walking and he's looking back at the girl. Yeah. And so they'll post a picture of like a muscle body as the girlfriend, and then a beefy, like chubby guy as the person that the man is looking back at. Yeah. As if to say, I'd rather have a beefy guy than a muscular guy. And people always be like, you're lying. I went through your likes. You only like muscular men, and you shouldn't be telling people that for engagement and blah, blah, blah. And this is what's wrong with the gay community. No one likes chubby men. Y'all only pretend. And I'm like, y'all, it's okay. It's okay if that person does not like chubby, fat, beefy men, whatever. Right. It is okay if they said that and they don't follow anybody who's chubby or fat on Twitter, because maybe they just know a few people in real life that they want to bust down consistently that they know looks like that. Exactly. We have to be better about allowing people to like what they like without projecting our insecurities onto what they prefer, like we talked about earlier. And it's not even about a matter of preference. It's just like people will find ways to project and to make people feel like they have to like everything, or exactly. there has to be a catch-all. Like, yes, I like this, but I like everybody. That's just not how the world works. It does. You may like ice cream, but you may not like Neapolitan ice cream, and that is okay too. And obviously, ice cream is very different than people. Yes, but it's no one's job, even on the apps, right? If someone does say, I like muscular guys, I prefer guys who are like very fit and yada yada. Okay, like that's fine. And it doesn't, you're not saying anything bad about me personally for being a fat bitch. But it's also okay for you to express that that's what you want. You don't have to manage my emotions and make me feel bad or good about myself. But some people will take screenshots of those kinds of profiles and then post on Twitter and be like, see, like you guys are so comfortable talking about muscular men only, and it's because you guys are insecure and you guys want to look a certain way so that you're accepted. But it's just there's people are too invested in discourse and trying to make a point about everything, and everyone's insecure. We see too much of each other. We see too much of each other on a daily basis. We see too much people going to the gym. We see too much people looking pretty and with all these filters and not eating, all this stuff. Like, we just see too much of each other, and now everyone's fucking insane and insecure, and we have to learn how to manage that for ourselves. That's my controversial.
I agree on that. Like, so much. Like, oh my God. And you know what? Because even after we had our little episode with the body positive episode, I really like went through and I listened to that shit again, and I was like, damn, like, I got some work to do my own self. Like, just like,
absolutely,
because we see so much of what's going on in the world and or around us in our environments, and we tend to do, like, I know for a fact there was times where I had to start unfollowing people on Instagram and all these places because I was getting so jealous. Like, oh my God, why does he have this body? Why does he have that? I want to have this body. And I was like, Andre, like, you're working at your own pace. Why are you worried about this person over here? Like, you don't want that body. You want your own body. Like, work on what you want for yourself. Like, I had to really like coach myself into like doing that but I did unfollow a whole bunch of people because I was just like, this shit is not, it was fucking with me.
It's healthy. It's a healthy thing to do. I follow a lot of porn on Twitter, and I have to unfollow people consistently because I either get too invested in the porn or I become obsessed with why my life isn't like theirs. Like, where are they finding all these men at? Are they just more attractive than me and they get all these hits on Grindr? Like, and I start to spiral into this depression where I'm like, I'm not good enough. They're having so much fun and so much sex, and the reality is that they're a sex worker. You know, at the end of the day, it's their job to find clients, to get fucked, and to entertain us. So it's a constant practice today.
It's a constant practice, I tell you. Okay, y'all. So that was the questions. We took a long time answering those, but whatever.
I know. I'm sorry, y'all.
Let's hop right into the entertainment segment, y'all. So I haven't did the entertainment segment in a while, and I know people have been asking me to do it, but I've been like so scared to do them because I've been seeing like so many people getting sued, and the word allegedly does not always work. So I try to like I'm finding good topics to talk about entertainment wise, just so I'm not really like getting myself in trouble. I'm trying to be a responsible podcaster because you know there's a lot of them out there that just don't be giving a fuck. Even though one of my mottos is
look at you.
Even though one of my mottos is you may not. I'm gonna say something that you don't like, and I don't give a fuck. I low key do give a fuck just a little bit. Because I ain't got time to be getting sued. I ain't trying to I ain't gonna say the person's name.
You don't make enough money to not be given.
Exactly. Because you will not hear from Bubba's Banter for a long time, or ever again. Shit. But anyways, so let's start off with I've been thinking about this a lot since the Grammys. Chris Brown, Chris Brown has been getting himself in some trouble again recently, and not even necessarily like, okay, I'm not going to try to backpedal on it saying that he's not getting in trouble, but okay, my question is, does Chris Brown deserve a clean slate? Like, I mean, the man has gotten in trouble recently for his Robert Glasper comment, the little temper tantrum he did, which I don't understand why.
That was so stupid.
Like, Robert Glasper, out of all, that's one of my favorite musicians. Him and Terrence Martin are my favorite, like, producers, musicians ever. Like, them motherfuckers is cold. Like,
and maybe that's why Chris Brown's music all sounds the fucking same, because he said he listening to his shit and not listening to to the R&B people who are in this category.
Exactly.
Come on. Anyway.
Exactly. And I'm just like, bro, like, why? Like, why? Like, why you didn't even sit up here and say, let me actually look up who Robert Glasper is. Because, like, it was just like, why would you talk about Robert Glasper out of all people? Like,
and he should know the Grammys is not a popularity contest.
It's not.
They're not looking at streams. Just because you have 55,000 songs on the album that get 1 million streams each does not mean that your music is any better than someone who has 15 songs on an hour album that you never heard of.
Exactly. Like, that's, thank God. Thank you for saying that. Like, and I love Chris Brown. That's the thing. I love Chris Brown. I think Chris Brown is dope as fuck. I think Chris Brown has good music, but like, as of like the things that he does, it's like, bro, you're just like making it harder for yourself. Like, be who you be, my nigga. I'm gonna support you, but at the same time, like, you kind of gotta like look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. Like, you're making people not like you. Like, the only people who are liking you are the people who are obsessed with you. Like every artist has some crazy ass fans, aka Beehive. Sorry. I shouldn't say that because
you ain't lying.
I want the hive to get at me, but the Beehive was crazy as hell. I've done seen them go off on so many people. So like Chris Brown has the Barbs too. Like, I mean, every celebrity, every artist has some crazy fans, and Chris Brown, you got some crazy motherfucking fans, bro. Team Breezy is crazy as hell too. So of course they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, who the fuck is? Yeah, of course they're gonna agree with you. Like,
my thing is, hasn't Chris Brown already gotten a clean slate? Like,
that is true.
I feel like he never really took a break from making music. He never took a break from being successful. Since the situation with Rihanna, he's released albums and music that has done really well. He's consistently gotten features with some of the biggest artists in the world. He has had a hit song for the past 10 years every summer. Like, he's never taken a break from being a superstar. His albums get streamed by the millions. He's selling out concerts. Like, I don't even know if it's a matter of a clean slate. He's gonna be successful regardless of how the 2,000 people on Twitter feel about him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, people can dislike him and they can make judgments about his character. There's a lot of evidence to support that his character isn't the most positive.
It's not.
Multiple people. He consistently says fucked up things about people's appearances and their talent. Like, he does not have the greatest track record as it is, but doesn't mean that he's not going to be successful. No, none of that shit really matters because people are still buying and streaming his music. And at the end of the day, we can't get rid of him. It's nothing that we can do right now to cancel him unless he does some R. Kelly shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So clean slate or not, Chris Brown is still going to be making money. He's still going to be featured with Chloe. He's still going to be featured with with women who you think they're too above collaborating with someone who has a history of making hits and good music.
Right.
At the end of the day, the industry does not care about if you're a good person or not. The industry cares about, are you going to make me money and give me a hit? And period. You see it with Dr. Luke, Dr. Dre, Chris Brown. I mean, people who have histories of being abusers, and so nobody really cares.
Right. And that's the thing too, like people started bringing out all these allegations like, oh, we shouldn't support him because XYZ, and it's like, bro, like, he's not the only person who does all this shit too. Like, that's one of the things I want to touch on, because I do feel like when it comes to Chris Brown, like, yes, it's easy to target him because he has a track record for it, but like, if we gonna cancel him, we gotta cancel a whole bunch of motherfuckers out here that's doing shit. Like, I mean, that's how I look at it.
Right.
Like, it's either you don't listen to his music, or
it's your personal prerogative whether you do or don't want to listen to his music.
Exactly.
Everyone has a person who they're like, I am never going to support that person. Like, for me, as much as R. Kelly's music has been a staple of my life, and like, my parents had their wedding and they walked on the aisle to a R. Kelly song. I can't bring myself to support his music because it's just like, I can't. I personally can't do that. I'm not on Twitter crusading about it and, making a point about it. But for me personally, I have, after all was said and done with the case and everything, like, there have been moments where I have listened to R. Kelly's music and I've listened to a song and thought, I really love that song. And I don't feel bad about it because at the end of the day, I can't take back what those memories or that song has done for me, like what it means to me. But if you choose to not like Chris Brown and not support his music, that is your prerogative and you are completely allowed to do that.
Right.
People are also allowed to listen to it and not really care. Like, it just is what it is. It's a fact of the world. It's the same thing. Like, you can be, I think it's the same argument people make when they're like, you are a woman, but you don't care about reproductive rights. And it's like, well, yeah, because I'm concerned about like being black, or I'm concerned about being poor, or I have other things that are on my mind that aren't that. Or, people who are like America centric, right? They're like, oh, there are all these problems in Egypt and in Qatar or whatever. And it's like, yeah, if I had the time and the capacity to care about everything, I promise you that I would. But right now I'm concerned about not having clean drinking water for the past 2 years. I'm concerned about the chemical spill in Ohio affecting mine and my children's livelihoods. I can't care about what's happening in Ukraine right now because I'm not there. The same way that I can't care about Chris Brown and about, you know, the other millions of things that people do in this industry.
Exactly. I agree, bro. I agree. Speaking of Chris Brown, I shouldn't even say this, but
I was going to say, no, don't segue like that. Don't do it. Don't
sorry, because that's my, I love this person. But anyways, I just want to know, how do you feel about Rihanna's Super Bowl performance, and who do you think should be next?
Disappointed. I was disappointed in the performance.
I
was very disappointed.
I was too, just a little bit.
I think that it would have been different if, okay, first of all, she was pregnant. So there was only so much as she could do.
Right.
And I respect her for committing to her, for committing to doing the Super Bowl.
Right.
Pregnant and all. But I also feel like there was another way for her to do her hits while still celebrating being pregnant.
Right.
And to me, it felt like they had a set list. They had all this choreography done. And then it was like, oh, I'm pregnant, so I can't do much. And I was like, it's a lot to redo, but it just felt like everything was working around a problem and not like working with the problem presented, you know? Right. The song she chose, I mean, it's Rihanna, so she's cool as fuck. She's going to do what she wants to do. I felt like she did songs that she liked and that made sense musically with the vibe they were trying to set.
Right.
But I also I was disappointed that it didn't feel like a celebration of her career in the way that, like, I think that some of her fans wanted. I'm a huge fan of Rihanna. And my thing was, like, if I was Rihanna and I found out that I was pregnant, I would say, listen, we need to open the set with these these fast-paced pop numbers that people love. We need to dedicate the whole middle of my set to my, like, mid-tempo ballad, like, you know, like the slower songs, and then end on, like, all the ballads. They didn't have to be all of the dancing, yada, yada. Like, it could have been those mid-tempo, those, like, cute, like, Unfaithful or California King Bed or, you know, there were other options. I don't know. I was a little disappointed, but I applaud her for committing to doing it while being pregnant and still doing a great job.
I feel like I only loved it because of the dancers. That was the only reason why. The dancers fucked it up. Like, and maybe
indeed
just because I'm like a ex-dancer myself, like, just seeing how
Paris Goebel she's gonna do it every time.
Yeah, like, seeing how they all dance, like, the energy, like, all that was great. I think that was the part for me that I just loved the most. Like, the part where she was walking off the stage and the dude crawling behind her, like, all that shit was, like, dope as fuck to me. Like, the energy behind all that shit was it was amazing. And just the visual of that. The visual was great too. Like, her being on the stage.
The visuals were great.
The visuals were great. So I will say fucking A+ on all that. But at the same time, her energy was a little lacking. And yes, because she was pregnant. So it was like, okay, I still love you, Rihanna. I still love you.
You know, the other thing I would say too is to the point that you were making about the choreography. I feel like she's worked with that choreographer Paris for a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like because I know that she's probably very loyal, so it would make sense that she would have Paris do the choreography for the Super Bowl. But to me, I was like, if you're going to do something this epic, there needs to be a shift in the vibe. You know, like, we've seen her work on tours of yours with the Savage stuff. Like, we've seen this style, this vibe, the very, like, R&B, hip-hop influenced energy, and it didn't feel like an elevation or it didn't feel like she put her catalog up on enough of a pedestal that's like, you have some epic shit, and for you to just like make a through line with this vibe of what you've been doing, it just didn't feel like we got a graduation of sorts. It like, the payoff didn't feel like it was worth the hype.
Yeah. Who do you think should be next? I think Usher should be next.
You know what I was thinking? I feel like we've had a lot of hip hop R&B over the past few years.
Yeah.
I would actually like to see a Kelly Clarkson halftime show. Or I would like to see, has Maroon 5 done one?
I don't know. Did they do one with Beyonce? Was that them? Or who was that?
No, that was Coldplay.
Oh shit! I be forgetting.
I feel like we need like a singer, songwriter, white people, like a John Mayer, Sarah Bareilles, Jason Mraz.
Or Henry Styles. Show. Henry Styles. Actually went back.
Harry Styles? Yeah. Ooh, you are so funny for that. Not Henry Styles.
I actually went back and listened to his album after the whole Beyonce fiasco, like, you know, on the internet. And I was like, actually, it's actually kind of cool. Like, it's not that bad.
I don't think he has enough hits yet to warrant him doing a halftime show.
That's true. But
or you know what would also be cool too, if we had like a boy group, girl group halftime show where it was like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, whatever the girl groups back in the day were, like TLC, and like it would be cool to have that kind of halftime show.
That would be cool. Oh my God, that would be.
Right?
I would love that. I would fucking love that. Okay. Okay, this next thing. This is why y'all don't touch people, okay? Like, y'all don't touch people when y'all out in public. So on Twitter, Busta Rhymes went viral for throwing a cup of water or whatever it was, throwing water. I know it was water on a fan after she grabbed his butt. So the fan was pretty much trying to like get his attention. He was flying from somewhere, or he was somewhere, I forgot where it was. And there was a big ass crowd, and she went to try to get his attention. She grabbed his butt. This motherfucker stopped, turned around, did an evil look, and flung that motherfucking water on her.
He said, "Stop, drop. Shut him down, open up shop." He let that lady have it.
Oh man. And the reaction of that is natural. You don't touch somebody's private part. You don't like, it's one of the things that bothers me the most is when people touch me a certain way. And you know, when I'm out at the clubs or the bars or whatever, and I understand people like to touch and blah, 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 and this is that. And I don't give a fuck if you're sexy as fuck. Like, if my eye contact is not giving you that, like, oh, come on, and you grab me, I'm going to fucking, like, go off on you. Because don't touch me. I mean, you could be hot as fuck. You could be the type of guy I want. But if I'm not giving you the eye back, that's not consent. It's not consensual. Do not touch me. Like, I've had guys at the bars grab my ass while I'm at the bar or try to grab my dick and shit. Like, I remember one time, it was last summer, I was somewhere and I was wearing these hoochie daddy shorts and like had like little ripples and shit, but they was like real short. And I was like kind of bending over trying to talk to the bartender, and this dude fucking grabbed my ass, like literally grabbed my ass, and I turned around to fucking go off, but I couldn't find him. And I know it wasn't a friend, because I know, like, looking through my peripheral, and the dude that was behind me pointed the guy out, and I knew it wasn't one of my friends. And maybe he could have mistakenly thought I was one of his friends or somebody he knew. But it's just the point of like, don't touch me, like, because that would have been the same result if I would have saw who it was. I would have threw that motherfucking $6 drink at him, like, because don't touch, and then would have turned around and bought another one. Like, don't touch me.
Right.
I didn't tell you to touch me like that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, just don't touch people without their consent. And I think that a lot of people see celebrities, they don't see celebrities as people.
Yeah.
Like we see them as sex symbols, as things that like are for our entertainment.
Yeah.
So it happens all the time where there have been multiple clips of people, women specifically, who will grab male performers' penises while when they come into the crowd, like they'll go up and grab their crotch, and like there's just people have no sense of humanity for these people who have become so elevated to the point that they're like not even seen as human or normal people, and they think that because the spotlight is on them, they won't react to that kind of behavior because they know that there are so many consequences for them reacting. But the truth is that I am still a human being, and these hands work just as well as your human hands work. Okay. So if you touch me and I don't like that shit, you will get smacked with the same vigor and viciousness that a bitch that lives next door to you would smack you with. Listen, you know, like that's why the thing with Bad Bunny throwing people's phones. I get it, because it's like you're not gonna disrespect me in my space consistently, and I'm trying to be nice to you, and you are clearly just being rude and inconsiderate of my humanity. Yeah, now your phone is broken. Fuck you. Yeah, like I get it, and I respect people who react in ways that make them feel safe.
Listen, in the words of Shaw Santiago, these hands is ready to eat for everybody. Like, you. I don't understand why people don't understand that. Like,
I miss his content. I haven't watched this stuff in a while.
He's funny as hell. I love Shy. But yeah, the hands is rated E for everybody. And the moment you think you gonna just touch me without consent, I'm gonna fucking go off. But yeah, I really hate that. Like, if I was busted, I would have threw that motherfucking water, and I would have probably went off too after that. But he knew it. He had cameras and shit, so he was just like, let me just throw the water on this bitch, because he probably thought, let me hit this lady. Bitch. Yeah, he probably thought, just I'm gonna knock this hoe out. But then he was like, nah, I'm gonna show her what it's about. And then she did apologize too. Like, she got online and she apologized, said she was trying to grab him, like grab his arm, and she ended up grabbing his butt or whatever. And it's just like, no. That look on your face. At least
we watched the video.
Yeah,
his arm was not all the way down there at the fucking ass.
Okay,
his ass.
And the face she made after she did it
was so mischievous. She was like, I just touched his ass.
Yeah, he thick. That's what she probably said when she grabbed it.
Yeah,
damn, he thick. Like, and I get it. Like, that's why, bro. I'm telling you.
You know, sometimes I look at Busta Rhymes, and he looked like a Komodo dragon to me. Don't he? He got that stocky body and that head shape.
He do.
He got like an overhead.
He hella looks like a Komodo dragon. You're right. Oh shit, that is too funny. But nah, for real, like, that's just not. I don't know what the fuck was going through her head, but whatever was going through her head, she. That's why, like, you need to leave these celebrities alone. Like, there was a strongman competitor I met. I mean, he's a celebrity in that world, and I remember I saw him, and I literally left the checkpoint, or I went from one side of the checkpoint at work to the other side, and I saw him, and I was like, "Hey, are you Rob Overs?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Bro, like, yeah, I'm like one of your biggest fans. Like, if you have time and if you feel comfortable, it's okay if I take a picture with you." He's like, "Sure, man." Like, he's like, that's the most compliment, or that's the most appropriate way I've ever got asked to get a picture. And I was like, well, that's how you're supposed to do it with people that you don't know. Like, yes, you're famous on the internet, but at the same time, I need to respect your time and respect, you know, if you're comfortable or not. Like, you're supposed to do that. Like, you know, I was like, "Hey, can I have a picture, please? Oh my god, oh my god!" Like, I didn't want to come off like a fangirl either, so that's just a part of me. Even though I was fangirling on the inside, and you can see it in the picture when I smile. Like, you can see the little. I mean, that's how I was with Duran this weekend too. Like, I was like,
I'm so jealous.
God, bro! Oh my god! I met him. He was like, "Yeah, he follows me on Twitter." I forgot he followed me on Twitter, and he was like, "Yeah, you was the one talking about your Fashion Nova outfit," and I was like, "Yeah."
I'm so dead.
Like, oh my god, bro! Like,
not him keeping tabs.
Yes, that Wonderlust, that motherfucker. That concert was lit. That concert was lit. I was right in the front, like, screaming my fucking head off.
I love it.
But anyways, okay, last topic. So Monique, Momo, Auntie Mo, sounds off about Sherry Shepherd and Kim Whitley's backhand compliments. I'm gonna go ahead and read this, this good old Instagram thing, because she did it on Instagram. So it goes,
yeah, it's like a caption.
"Hey, my sweet babies, be sure to swipe."
She is so funny.
Hello, Sherry Shepherd and Kim Whitley. First, thank you for your compliments regarding my talents and performance in the reading. I couldn't help but notice, though, that you two said because of my personality, I'm always getting in trouble. And then you attempted to show a connection between my personality and me being blackballed, along with the fallout I had with brother D.L. Hughley. In addition, you two within the same breath mentioned how we as comics are underestimated. First thing, kids with their parents, criminals with the law, and slaves with their masters get into trouble. And the last time I checked, I don't fit in any of these categories to get in trouble with anyone or anyone you mentioned. Do you two?
You gotta read like an auntie.
I can't do it that way. When you two say we as comics are underrated, you, Sherry, Kim, and I are iconically all black female comics. Why do you think that we're underrated? My personality is such where I have to speak up and out against injustices. So we can stop being as you both said, underrated. And if you notice, I haven't ever started a conversation about you two that involved any negativity in any way in all of the years I've known you two. Check my resume. I don't knock on anyone's door saying things I can't sustain, but some people have a problem with me because when they knock on my door with BS, I answer. Anytime the team of you two sisters would like to speak with the team of my husband and I, we welcome it. We welcome it. Thank you two again for the compliments, though backhanded, and please no regard. I still love the both of you to life, sisters. I love us for real.
For real. Hi, my babies.
Hi, my babies. Make sure you swipe left.
Make sure you swipe left now.
That was the part. Honestly, I understand where she was coming from, because I forgot what Kim Whitley and she said it pretty much what they said. They was on, I think it was a Sherry Shepherd show, and she said all this shit, and it's like, I feel like I haven't watched the Sherry Shepherd show because I heard it was good though, but I haven't watched it. But I've heard bad things about Kim Whitley for a long time, allegedly. Just that she's not a good person. Like, she's very shady from what I was been told. But I love Kim Whitley. I love Kim Whitley though. But I've heard that throughout Twitter. So it's Twitter. So it's still allegedly though, because it's still Twitter. Mm-hmm. It's public. It's out there. But like, it's just like, why it was a backhand compliment. Like, I have to agree with Monique. It was a backhand compliment. Like, the fact that you could have just said, "Oh my God, Monique did a really good job in the performance of the reading." Like, that's all. Oh shit, look at me hit my mic. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to fucking say was, "Oh, she did a great job. I love my sister," and blah, blah, blah. That's all you had to say. But you start bringing in the fact that she gets in trouble, and this, like, that was just shady. Like, that was shady as fuck. Like, I hate that shit. Like, I think sometimes, and I don't know if they're real friends, they're just work friends, but still, like, I feel like when you care about somebody, and you say, like, whatever you say, y'all have some type of alliance as far as, I guess, comedy goes. I just feel like sometimes people need to learn how to, like, handle their friends. You know, like, I was in therapy, one of my therapists, I'm gonna say one of my therapists, I only got one. But my therapist was saying how, like, sometimes people need to learn how to handle their friends. Like, if you have a friend who is like this or like that, like, I'm not saying you have to be a certain way around them, but just, like, understand how they're going to be and learn how to handle your friends. Like, because there's things like that compliment was backhanded, and I've been in that situation before where people are like, "Oh, you know, your show was good, but, you know, I just feel like," and it's like, wait, you had a good show. I like that. Cool. I mean, I'm open to like criticism and constructive criticism all the time. And I'm always asking for constructive criticism. That's just the person who I am. I'm always trying to improve myself. But like, there's a way to tell somebody like, "Hey, so I like this show, but I just feel like the audio was like this and like this and like that, you know, or maybe you could work on doing this. Maybe you can work on your segues because this, that." Like, there's ways to like say things to people that is constructive and at the same time friendly.
Yeah, you know? And I think that the other thing with Monique is, like, she has had so many years of defending herself and her reputation and being out of work, right? She hasn't really worked much since the whole situation with Lee Daniels and Tyler Perry and Oprah went down. And, you know, in the past 5 or so years, she's come back into the spotlight, reacting to all of that, but also trying to reestablish herself as the star that she is and once was. And I understand her need to continue to defend herself, because it's like, now I'm back in a position where I will be getting more opportunities. I've done this great performance in a movie that people are celebrating and applauding. I've amended my relationship with Lee Daniels, who directed the movie. I want to continue on this trajectory. She has a Netflix special coming out. Like, things are working in her favor. So people who continue to harp on things that were either of the past or that sound similar to things that people tried to say to keep her from work, it's like, no, I'm going to do everything that I can to keep my bag and to continue to, you know, grow on the trajectory of recognition and continued success. And it's tough because I know that for her, it's like, y'all know how the fuck this shit goes. As Black women who do comedy, who are entertainers, who are actors, you know how difficult it is, period, just being Black and being a woman in this industry. So let's be careful about the things that we say about each other, because it can only do more harm to not be helpful than it could be to just be positive and to support someone. When criticism isn't necessary. Like, that wasn't a moment where anyone was needed to be criticized. She had a great performance. Let's celebrate that and move on. It's not like something had happened and she did something and that encouraged conversation about her character or whatever. So I get her perspective on that for sure.
Yeah. I just thought that was trash as fuck. Like, I was like, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like at the end of the day, like, you don't do that to your friends. And I don't know if they're real friends, so I'm all jumping in a personal thing. I think that's because, like...
You don't do that to your cousin on your mother's side, twice removed by marriage and then divorce. You don't do that.
Right. Like, it's just... I don't know, because but that's how people are shady like that, too, in the industry. Like, I think for me, it did... Again, I really agree with Monique. Like, a lot of times people say it's her, but I just feel like... And don't get me wrong, maybe she can be a diva, whatever. But at the same time, like, that was really fucking unnecessary. Like, if you are supposed to be friends in this industry, in this era of comedy or whatever, especially you being Black, it's like, and you've seen how much of a hardship she has had over the years. It's like, why? And the performance was stellar. Why not put? Oh, look at my sis Monique. Blah blah. Like, celebrate her. Like, we always talk about protect Black women, celebrate Black women, protect her and celebrate her, because it was a good performance. So it's like, why not? Like, that's why I don't understand sometimes. And I get it though. Envy and jealousy is a real fucking thing, and that's just really what it is. Like, could be some,
but also they have a job to do. Like, they were on a talk show.
Yeah.
And they supposed to be talking.
That's true.
Sometimes, you're not thinking too hard about what exactly you're saying.
Yeah.
But they were entertaining people. And of course, as much as people care about the work that Monique is doing as a professional, they know that people care about the other kind of more personal stuff that's not necessarily related to what she's doing. So it's like, I mean, sometimes it also isn't that deep, like, I know I just defended Monique for defending herself, but on the other side of that, I do feel like she is particularly sensitive to that stuff because of the extreme kind of like backlash that those comments had on her career. But I also think that she could afford to just let some of that go. Like, bask in your success, live in the moment. You've amended relationships, you're on the come up, you have all of these things working in your favor now. It's also okay to just, like, let people, if you think that they're mad and bitter or whatever, let them be that.
Everything doesn't need to be called out. So you're right. I've been told that plenty of times because I'm the call out queen. I will call that ass out in the midst of it, or and sometimes I harbor shit too, but like, I'll call that shit out in a heartbeat, especially if it's something near and dear to me. So I get it, because that's what she is. She's a call out. She's sensitive to shit, and she's like, I'm gonna call this shit out because it's affecting me, and I get that part too. But at the same time, it's like, girl, you winning right now. It's not a big thing. All right, y'all. So we at the end of the show. Finally got here. Not too many technical difficulties this time around.
No, ma'am. I'm so proud of you.
I got my checklist. Shit. I'm really excited. But I do want to make an announcement. I probably will be doing another live show. Not in March. I'm going to be probably doing it sometime in April, just because I got some personal things going on. I'm probably going to also, like, kind of back off of audio episodes too as well, but I will be posting a lot of shit, like posting past episodes, and I'm going to be real active on my my Instagram, because I've also realized a new thing that I really need to be active on all of my social medias more than I have. I've been active on Facebook a lot since the live show, and my numbers have went way up. But yeah, I got some personal things going on, so I kind of like, I'm here, but I'm not here. All right. So,
and that's okay.
Right. So, but yeah, y'all know where to follow me at, which is Bubba's Banter Podcast on Instagram. Follow my Bubba's Banter Facebook page. And my real Doc Dre profile too. That's my personal, but I'm on there most of the time. So that, and Twitter, Bubba's Banter, stuff like that. So yeah.
What's the freak Twitter?
I can't put that out there, man. I can't put that out there. I got too many coworkers that listen to my show, and next thing you know, my shit'll be all on. I'll be up in not HR, but the manager's office. Like, oh, so
right.
I ain't got time for that shit. I mean, technically, I can have one. It just, yeah.
No need to that. No need to do all that.
Yeah. You want to give out your social, even though I'm probably gonna tag you and they're gonna see it. Like,
yeah, I feel like none of y'all actually follow me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I am very entertaining, and I love to talk stupid shit on TikTok these days. So follow me on TikTok at DMcMo, DEEMCMO, and you can follow me on Instagram at the same account name. If you go to my TikTok, my Instagram is also linked right there in the bio. So there's no reason for you to not visit both. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's right there in your face. You're gonna be entertained. You might as well just click follow. You might as well just see what's going on in my life. Right. You know, like, I just feel like I'm there, you there. Just see just tap in. So anyway, yeah.
All right, y'all. So y'all know what to do. I'll see y'all on Thursday. That was good.
That was good.